Hello, my name is Owen, and welcome to what I will be reading in the month of April 2025, and also a wrap-up overview of my month of March 2025. I feel like it's been a while. I've posted sporadic videos recently because, spoiler alert, March was not a great reading month, guys. I feel like I've been saying that more and more, at least in 2025. We're off to quite slow start, unfortunately. Our goal of reading 45 books this year is not on pace. Let's just say that. We needed to read around 4 books a month, and we have not read 4 books a single month yet. I think we did 2, 3, 3 so far. So we are falling behind. Just overview of the stats real quick. We read 3 books. We finished 3 books in March, and we read just over 1,100 pages. And it's not great. It's not great, guys. Considering that I finished the first book of the month like literally on March 1st, because it was basically done from February, and that was The Empty Space by Peter Brook. That's the book, his essays about theater and what is good theater, what is art, and stuff like that. Really just more of a hobby piece for me. And then I also finished The City and Its Uncertain Walls. I did a review of that about a week or so ago. And then I also finished Royal Assassin, which I'm rereading or re-listening to on audiobook. So really, it was the Murakami, it was The City and Its Uncertain Walls that I was reading the entire month. And if you saw that review, you know that I thought poorly of it. Therefore, it took me a long time to read. It wasn't bad enough, or I wouldn't say it was like horrible ever, and certainly didn't dislike it enough that I ever just wanted to drop it. I'm hesitant to drop books. I'm hesitant to put down books that I'm not really enjoying, but I've been known to do it in the past. I have been known to DNF books. It's not something I have a hard rule against, like I can't not finish it. It's hard for me though, and especially it's a book like that where it's like, it's kind of interesting. There's some interesting things going on. I don't really know where it's going, so I'm curious. It just meant that I was going to finish it through the whole time. There was never a doubt that I was going to finish it, and it was just kind of a slow burn. It wasn't even burning. It was just like a slow, maybe it's going to start burning, or maybe it's just going to sit there. And then it sat there the whole time. So it was a little bit boring, unfortunately, and reading a boring book just takes a long time to finish, guys, and it really put a damper on my whole month. I had big plans. I wanted to finish Kindred in the month of March. I did start it by the tail end of the month. I think literally the last 2 days I started it, and we're a couple days into April already, and I'm really not that far into it, but so far so good. I'm enjoying the setup. I'm enjoying the characters so far, but I guess that's going straight into April. This is the book that we're definitely going to finish. I plan on finishing this in the next week and a half or so. We're not going to be too ambitious, but I think that's a reasonable amount of time. It's not too long of a book. It's just around 250-ish pages. I'm about like 60 pages in right now. Should be easily done, right? How about this weekend? I put my nose to the grindstone and I finish a book for once. Because, it's just hard when, and I've said this before in the past too, if you're reading a book that's really not gripping you, but maybe it's not like offensively bad where it's like kind of fun to hate read or you just like completely throw it out the window, it kind of like puts a damper on your whole hobby. Like you don't want to think about books. You don't want to like pick up a book because there's just nothing grabbing you there or actively pushing you towards something else. So it's just kind of neutral. It's just kind of there. It just becomes like a not even so bad as like a chore hobby. It just doesn't become your most intriguing hobby when you're not reading something super engaging. So it just kind of like ruined my momentum a little bit. And I thought I was going to go into March with a lot of momentum. But interestingly enough, before we go on with my April plans again, I noticed that I am a cyclical reader, guys, because I have 2 years, or I'm working on my second year of Storygraph stats, and I noticed that this same dip happened in March of last year. I started the year off a little bit stronger last year with like I hit the ground running in January, kind of continued that in February, but slowly started to dip. And then I hit a ravine in March. Now, unfortunately, if this sample size of only 2 years is correct, this drought will stay until June. until the summer, basically, because April was equally as dismal last year. And you know what? It's a busy time of year for me. It's a busy time of year in general at work. But maybe it's just like the changing of the weather, the lingering cold, where it's not fun to look outside anymore and see the snow because it's mostly just like ugliness and then rain and then cold and then warm one day. Go outside. Oh, next day it's cold again. It's kind of a lot of that. So maybe that contributes to like my reading momentum. But I guess this is just something that happens to me in March. And hopefully we can buck the trend. We could go all the way back up in April. But you know, it's shaping up to be another doozy of a month for me, just in general. So I don't have the highest expectations, but I plan to be better. I plan to read something that's good, that's interesting to talk about, because that was the biggest sin for me. Not only was I reading a book that wasn't particularly interesting, kind of boring. Boring books are harder to talk about, and maybe not want to talk, maybe not have a lot to talk about just in general, because you know I love yapping, right? We just been doing a lot of like review videos, which I love them. They're my bread and butter, but you know, if I'm not reading a lot of good books, I'm not reviewing a lot. So I started doing some shorts where I review books that I actually like, just so I can talk about something to ignite a passion inside of me. Those are kind of fun, really easy to make. Maybe I'll do more of those, just because I got some books on here that like I read so long ago and I don't talk about anymore because I already talked about them once. Why don't we talk about them in a different format? I think that'd be kind of cool. And I did one on Assassin's Apprentice, and then I did one on King of the Northwind as well. And speaking of Farseer, the other book I'm trying to read this month, or trying to finish this month, is Assassin's Quest, third book of the Farseer trilogy. I'm re-listening to that on Audible as well. So hopefully I can wrap that up. I'm a couple hours into it now. I expect I'll be able to finish it. My audiobook structure, or schedule rather, is kind of haphazard. When do I do it? I don't know. Sometimes I'll just listen to like 6 hours straight at 3 times speed, of course. Or I just won't listen to it all for like a week and a half and then pick it up and like be in a walk to work, walk back to work, stuff like that. It's kind of sporadic, but I think I should be able to power through it. This series is so good. But like I said, I already reviewed them, and I don't want to just do another review of like, why this series is the best series of all time. So I'm just going to do it in a short format instead, so I don't have to make that video, because I really, really love that series, and it's really, really holding up. First time I read through the trilogy, Royal Assassin was my favorite. I think that definitely still holds up. I think the fact that we've sat with these characters a little bit in Farseer, that in the second book, like all the drama that happens, like in Buckkeep and all that, it's just so good. All the characters are so good, and I'm just reminded how much I love Robin Hobb, which makes me more excited for Tawny Man. And the debate I'm having right now is when I get to Tawny Man trilogy, which will either be maybe the end of this month, probably next month, hopefully I start the first one, is whether or not I want to continue with the audiobook. I'm like listening to them, because I do enjoy the audiobooks actually of this series, or if I want to pick up like a physical copy, like whether that be at the library or on my Kindle or something like that, and actually read it. Because first time I read Farseer, I listened to the first one, read the next two. This time I'm listening through all of them. The big deciding factor for me will be if the narrator is the same for Tawny Man. Because I know I read something that Realm of the Elderlings has a lot of different narrators, and I think my narrator is Paul Bamer. So if you know, let me know. It's not that I like love him, he's my favorite narrator. It would just mess me up if it switched, and I would not want to do that. So that's kind of what I'm hesitant towards. He makes some choices, like his voice for the Fool is like really grating to me, but I'm just used to it at this point. And he's a very comforting, he just like, it reminds me of it just gives me nostalgia just when he like reads the book, especially because like this is the first time I was introduced to the series, it was his voice. So if it's not him narrating that trilogy, I'm probably just going to do physical. I don't want to switch it up. But then I'm paying for Audible, and they're giving me these free credits, and now I'm like gaslit into like keeping them, because now I have 2. I'm almost going to get 3. I'm like, well, I could get the whole trilogy then. But I'm like, I don't know if I want the trilogy. So why am I paying another $11 or whatever it is until my promo ends, and they're going to start charging me probably like $18 a month? I don't even know. But that's my debate. So if you know anything about the narrators, or maybe the narrator timing is really good, but it is a different person, let me know that as well. I don't know what I'm going to do there. But that's the other book I want to finish, is Assassin's Quest. It's the longest of the trilogy, so hopefully, and I remember it being my least favorite. So hopefully there's no snags there, but because it's a different medium, I'm not super worried about that slowing me down, like reading-wise. So we have Kindred, Assassin's Quest, and then the other big behemoth that I'm going to try to read this month. It's back, guys. Onyx Storm, Fourth Wing, Book 3. And, you know, I wasn't going to read it, but my friend is reading it, and she really likes the series. And she's like, oh, well, you got to read it because I read it. And she lent me her copy. But then she told me, she goes, you know, the second one, like, wasn't that good? I'm like, yeah. She goes, yeah, this one's kind of like that. Have fun. So I'm like, so this book is horrible? Like, you're just going to give it to me? But you know what? I have a moral obligation to be a man of my word. And it doesn't look horribly long. It's about 500 pages. And, you know, it's bigger text, I guess. It's got pretty pages at least. So we're going to do the same vlog format that we did for the first 2 books in this series, which is the only series I've ever done that format for. I don't know why, but where you're going to get my live reactions in clip format, and then like I'm going to release it all as like one big chunk video of just me like live reading them, because I think it made me enjoy the first book and probably the second book more, to be honest, the fact that I was like live reacting to them. So I was like talking to someone every step of the way, even though it was me. It's always me. It's always in my head. But these books aren't my tastes, to be exact. But I found that if I'm talking about them more in-depthly, rather than just like as a recap at the end of reading the book, I find more things to like about, because I'm looking for something that I can talk about, looking for something that I can latch onto and enjoy, and I found that that does work. It works in general as well. If you go into a book like this thinking it's going to be absolutely horrible, there's no redeeming qualities, you will find that. You will hate your life, and then you'll do the review that everybody always does when they just read the plot sarcastically, and maybe this book is bad. But dang it, we're going to find out if it's bad for real, okay? And we're going to provide real critical analysis, and we're going to find some positives too. Hopefully there's a couple cool moments, because say one thing for Rebecca Yarros, she knows the genre, she knows the big popcorn blockbuster moments that I'm sure they're going to make into a Amazon Prime feature film in a couple of years, that'll have everyone going, oh my gosh, no way, 2 dragons? Stuff like that. It maybe it's a little bit derivative, some would say. It is a little bit, but you know what? It's popcorn action, and there's something to be enjoyed about that. So hopefully there's some redeeming qualities about it, and I did hear that this one does take the plot further along than perhaps the second one did, which is the biggest problem, is when characters are just sitting in the place and they don't know what they want to do, and if they don't know what to do, then I don't know what we're doing either, and then we're all just wasting our time. It still makes me very sad that this is a 5-book series. Completely unnecessary. Probably could have been 2 books, maybe 3 books if we want to get greedy. 5 books, gratuitous. Gluttony. But we're going to see how that goes. Onyx Storm is the 3rd main book of this month. And that would be about pace for us, finishing just 3 books in a month. But if for some reason we get possessed by the spirit of reading itself, we are going to dive into No Country for Old Men. It's the book I bought in January. It's shorter, but it's a classic, which means it might be slow. And I'm not super optimistic for my chances of at least finishing that book. But hopefully, we're flying through Kindred. Onyx Storm isn't too much of a drag or anything like that. We get through that, and then we could get good head start. And then if we finish 4 books this month, all of a sudden we had 1 month where we were on pace. We'd still be massively behind. We've got to make up lost ground, but we'd be back on pace again. As if the number that I made up at the beginning of the year actually has any significance upon my life or anybody else's life. But let's just pretend that it did. And then maybe that'd be a step in the right direction, right? But that's basically my look ahead to April. I'm excited for the weather to make a permanent change for the better. So far, no end in sight there. But I'm excited for summer. I'm excited for the steps ahead. And I'm excited for these books. I think Kindred is going to have a ramp up pretty soon. It started off interesting. I'll just say that about Kindred. We did not waste time. We went, okay, it's a book about time travel. Okay, I'm sure we're going to set up the characters. Boom, we're time traveling. Okay, perfect, great. So far, so good. Onyx Storm, not optimistic for it. Assassin's Quest, it's already a certified banger. No Country for Old Men, sure is going to be great if we could get to it, but we'll see. That's all I got for you guys for the month of April. Looking ahead, let me know what you guys are reading. Let me know what you guys have been up to. I feel like we haven't checked in a while. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like the video and you want to see more like in the future. And as always, thanks for sticking around.